I'll bet Little Rush has taken the side of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are very angry about them moving that game from Friday to Sunday.
I did see your wife saying that Donald Trump is a very disturbed. She was replying and saying you are a very disturbed man. Now I don't know if that's her professional opinion or her personal one, but it definitely is an opinion. Oh, that's unfortunate. All right, there it is showing up on Facebook. So
Rush has taken the side of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Here we go. All right, I shared it. You should be able to share it.
Are you going to pay for the Mike Tyson Grandpa Simpson fight?
I will not be paying for that. How much is that? Are they charging it like a regular pay-per-view, like $50 or something?
I don't know.
Whatever it is, I won't be paying it. Do you remember what Grandpa Simpson's name was?
No.
Abraham Simpson. That's right.
Hey, let's just do Simpsons trivia this hour. It's
nothing
wrong
with that.
Popular show.
Nothing wrong with that. I hear it's been around for a while. I wonder if James L. Brooks has made $1 billion off of that show. I wouldn't be terribly surprised. You got it shared.
More importantly, Rupert Murdoch has made $1 billion.
That makes me happy,
and that's probably true.
But it's owned by Disney. Yeah, when he sold it to Disney as part of all the shit. Yeah. I want the One America News Network to come up with their version of Simpsons. I think it'll be much funnier.
Oh God, what was that half-hour comedy?
Half-hour comedy hour. Speaking of Rush, yes, here I am with Ann Coulter, my vice president. Yeah, good shit. You got it shared?
No.
Oh.
I'm going to have to do it the old-fashioned way here. I don't know why it didn't take. Oh. Okay. It's there. It's a steaming hot cup of brand new coffee just made.
Oh, man. Is there anything better in the world? Yes, there is. Lots of stuff. But still.
You know what's better? A second cup.
We give thanks for you, coffee. Nothing wakes us up like you do.
This is the Costco Kirkland Starbucks blend.
That's fantastic.
You know, they used to have a giant coffee grinder machine there. You could buy the beans, then on your way check it, but they got rid of that because of COVID.
Good for them.
That's what COVID has done to this country.
Thanks a lot, COVID.
All right. Ready?
Ready.
And my hair.
Non-existent.
That's not a good way to start.
That's how we start the way to give thanks.
Right. The Brad and Britt cast, the pre-Thanksgiving version here. Thank you for joining us today. How are we? We are fine. Thank you. We are thankful. We are
Yes, it
thankful
is.
that we are in the position that we are in. How about that?
Sure. We have our health. We have people who love us. I mean, at least in theory. So it's a great day to be alive. And I hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I hope you're spending it with only the people in your house. Did you see the statistics? The New York Times has a map you can linger over and go to different communities where they've surveyed how many people are going to have Thanksgiving dinner with someone outside of their household. And where we live in Greensboro, it was 34%. So I did some quick math based on the population, and I believe Cone Health System recorded like 1,700 hospitalizations day before yesterday. 1,700. And if you did the math on this, and you only had a quarter of the cases to people who may potentially be exposed, you get like at least another 400 cases just based on eating Thanksgiving dinner with someone who's not in your household. So if you think that they're ready for another 400 cases next week, well, grab a wishbone, you dumbasses.
Well, I question your methodology there.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, because to assume that every person,
yes,
will be testing positive who is
of course. I assumed a 1%
the positivity rate where we are like 7 or 8%, something.
It
like
is.
that?
So I was extremely conservative, as I am in all things. I am a conservative.
Yeah.
So there you are. I got to about 1,700 possible new cases, which was a 1% infection rate.
I'm sorry. I don't even want to talk about it. I'm going to go make a plane reservation right now. Right now.
I love how just like nothing can be done about the airports. It's just like people are just going to be stuffed in the fucking airports, which were petri dishes under the best of circumstances, right?
Well, what do you mean nothing can be done? What do you want to be done about the airports? Close down air traffic across the country? Just shut it down?
Well, I mean, do something.
What are you, a Dr. Fauci Jr.?
I am Dr. Fauci Jr. I am Dr.
You?
Fauci Jr. That's exactly who I am. A proud Italian man. There you are.
No. I mean, I don't know what to say about people who are unwilling to give up a quote unquote family Thanksgiving. I have to do it. I've been away from grandpa and grandpa. My children, they want to see their. I don't know what to say because we're way past the video of some person laying in a hospital bed with tubes coming out of their nose saying, I didn't take this seriously. Now I do. And I'm telling everybody, don't play, those have lost their effectiveness if they ever had any, apparently, with a large swath of the country. The freedom to be stupid movement grows every day. We have revolts in cities where they close down restaurants, whether it's New York or LA or Denver or wherever that's going on. And we fully understand the economic ramifications of all this. We get it. But this really does get down to the Mel Blanc and Jack Benny question, your money or your life. I'm thinking.
Exactly.
And we do have, but then when you see tens of millions of people lining up to get food at food banks, people who've never had to depend on any kind of charity to feed their families before, you go, are you willing to take the chance? Are you, and we're not those people.
No.
So it's easy to judge them.
But the general malaise in America right now, holy shit. I mean, to be in this place that where we are right now, not only with this coronavirus raging across America like it never has before, the massive unemployment, the people with food insecurity that you were just talking about, These are bad times. These are not good times in America. You're in a bad spot in America. The only thing that's really good about America right now, cheap gas. But that's only because demand is way down, because a lot of people don't have to buy gas to go to work right now, Brad. And the people who are working from home, so they don't have to buy gas. So that's the major difference from, now and some other times in American history, the mid-'70s or whatever, where there was a general malaise and inflation was high and they had gas lines and shit. Hey, we don't have gas lines right now, but that's just about it. Right? Everything else really sucks right now in America. There's a lot of bad shit going on.
There's a lot of bad shit going on, and that allows us to pivot to someone who would look from 30,000 feet above and say to themselves, "I'm the president of the United States. What can I do to make things worse?"
Right.
How can I make it more difficult for the person that succeeds me in the presidency and for the government to perform its function? What can I do to do that? Because that's what I do. That's what I'm all about. I'm tired of using the word petulant. I'm bored with that word. We need new words. We need new words for him.
Yeah. You start with petulant.
Right.
That's that's petty. Like the baseline. Yeah, petty works.
Right. We're way past narcissistic. There are no words. I mean, and I'm going to be delicate here.
Yes, please.
Something needs to be done about this person.
Mm-hmm.
Something needs to happen to him. I believe that would be the best thing for the country. That's all I'm going to say.
Maybe he should get infected with the disease. Oh, wait a minute.
He already did that.
That already happened. I forgot.
He already did that.
But then they took him to Walter Reed and they fixed him.
I'm talking about something that is more permanent.
No, him being removed from office and taken up to Manhattan and then lived out of the rest of his life.
More permanent than that.
Well, I'm trying so hard. I'm trying so hard to give you an out on this, and you're just not taking it.
Instantly permanent.
Yeah, I'm trying so hard to give you an out.
Isn't there a patriot somewhere?
I don't think this is going to be good. I don't think this is a good. I think you should say, "Hey, what's your favorite?"
Think about.
What's your favorite Thanksgiving?
Why can I talk about that here, Britt?
Because we were on a podcast. Well, at least we were. It's been nice, everybody. Thank you. 6 years in this space. It's been really.
I'm just fantasizing. I'm not being real, of course.
Of course not. How about, man, what's your favorite Thanksgiving side dish? Because mine happens to be dressing or stuffing. I love that. That stuff's really good. The president tweeting out another tweet storm today of crazy shit, including the words "rigged election," all caps with an exclamation point on it. That's what he's got now, and that's what he's
there's
got
proof
going
right there. I think they had to take that one into court. That one would stand up to scrutiny.
Exhibit A. They keep getting bitch slapped in court over and over and over again. It's unbelievable.
Now, as we speak, and I couldn't find any official information. Last night and then early this morning, this is Wednesday morning we're talking about, they had some kind of cockamamie, half-ass, bullshit, insane. How can we present something stupider than Rudy Giuliani sweating to the oldies last week? What kind of presentation can we come up with that's even more fact-free, that is grievance-filled, that will, again, keep Donald Trump's name in the news? Because, an hour without him being the top story is an hour closer to death for Donald Trump. And we don't want death for Donald Trump. That's one thing we don't want, right? We want him to live a long, long life, unless something were to happen to him.
Like choking on a piece of turkey, perhaps, and having some problems with that on Thanksgiving Day.
Right. But so they were going to go to Gettysburg.
I remember this. Yes, I saw this.
And it was my thought, is Trump going to just dress up as a Confederate general so he can get beaten there too? You like that one? Is that a comeback? That's a good comeback.
I do like that one.
It's a good comeback. He's going to lose to the Union in Gettysburg again, huh? That'll be good. And I just think of the pathology of the perceived symbolism that he thought he was going to use by going to Gettysburg and standing in a hotel, maybe in a Econo Lodge, the kind of hotel. He should be in one of those ones where like Econo Lodges or Motel Sixes, where the lobby is about as big as your bathroom. Okay,
Yeah,
there really
like that.
isn't a lobby. You just walk in. There's a desk and there's like 2 chairs, and that's the kind of place. And I wouldn't think that Gettysburg has all that kind of luxurious hotel. So he's going there under this idea of what's the thought process to use Gettysburg right now in this circumstance. It's about freedom. It's about what is it? What
I think it's a call to arms among his idiots, isn't it?
Call to arms.
I think that's what we're looking at, isn't it?
Who won Gettysburg? Am I missing something here?
No, but he doesn't consider that. I mean, I think he considers himself to be the good guy, the baby face. So he considers him to be he's on the Lincoln side of things. At least that's what he thinks. I don't know how he gets there.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And maybe George Lincoln Rockwell side, but
because as you know, and as anybody will tell you, the bad guys, the Republicans now will tell you it was the Democrats. The Democrats were the ones who were in favor of slavery and blah blah blah. All that shit. They'll tell you that in a heartbeat. So he again,
we're probably trying to overanalyze it too much. He just thought that it's a famous place. I'll go there and people just think it's a great thing. And Giuliani was supposed to be this is the last I heard. Giuliani was supposed to be with him, and now Giuliani apparently has to quarantine himself because he's been around somebody else who tested positive, which you could believe that's true, or you could believe it's an out for him to not have to show up and embarrass himself again. Although I guess he doesn't think he was embarrassed last week. There is no embarrassment gene in either Giuliani or Trump. Nothing.
No, there's no shame at all.
When the whole world tells you suck, you just might suck. It is possible you might suck. And late this morning, I heard it was canceled. They threw in the towel because somebody, and again, we just replay the same records over again. Did somebody actually go to Donald Trump and say, pick him up by his lapels and say, what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck are you doing? You lost in Pennsylvania 7 times.
There's nobody going to do. Who's going to do that? Who's the person that's going to do that to him?
Something changed, and they canceled it apparently.
Yeah,
and it couldn't have been him saying, sitting back in the Oval Office in his easy chair, and think, upon second thought, possibly this is not the greatest idea in the world. We shall cancel. No, it doesn't work that way with him.
Mm-hmm.
Something happened.
Well, I saw something a couple of weeks ago when he was making these, stupid tweets. And Jake Tapper said something like subtweeting goes, somebody close to this man should stop him. Somebody who loves this man should stop him because he just looks moronic. And there is nobody to love him. There is no one to do that. Anybody else in our private life, we have people who love us. If we're making a fool of ourselves in some way, they'll kind of grab us and goes, you're kind of being an ass right now. See, because they love us, but he has nobody like that in his life.
Hang on, we're more than 4 years past that.
Of course.
I don't know if you read the piece about the future of the prince and the daughter of the king.
I read that. Yeah.
Where are they going to end up, Jared and Ivanka, after this is all over? Of course, they obviously can't go back to New York. No. Maybe they'll go to New Jersey, and expand whatever land they have there and keep build and hide.
By the way, did you the words pickleball court?
Yeah, 5, not like 4 pickleball courts.
Nothing says, by the way, real American to a guy, Clem Cadiddlehopper, with his pickup truck full of tools in Valdosta, Georgia, like a new pickleball court. But please go ahead.
You're saying that from the standpoint of Jared is running and he wants to appeal to Middle America. They don't care about that. They don't care what it looks like.
Just in general, the Trump family is the family of, I love my guns and gun. I got a big ass flag with a picket truck. And
which is completely antithetical to everything that they are. They don't have that.
Juxtapose with the words pickleball court. See, I just don't see how those things come together, and they don't jive. But there's a lot of willful ignorance here.
Right. But anyway, my point is that it was as Trump was becoming president. Remember the early money was on, it's Ivanka who can keep her father in line.
She'll rein him in.
she can be the moderating force because,
yes.
you know, even though her politics don't line up specifically with her father, he would do anything for her. And all right. So that went out the window. What about the second week?
Yeah, that was done.
And then that one kept coming back occasionally when we had given up all hope on anyone else ever being able to talk to him about something idiotic that he's done. And that never happened. And she got worse and worse and worse and worse and went fully into the tank.
Oh, yeah.
With Trump. So that went off the cliff the same time. The famous phrase, now he's finally become a president, after he was able to read the teleprompter for 3 straight minutes without veering off into space. And that made him a great leader. And we know that was never really true either, even if we knew it at the time. We're just left with this dreck of 55 or so days left to go. And you know how when you're a kid, you want to be older, you want to grow up.
Yeah,
you can't wait. You can't wait when you're 15. You can't wait till you're 18. When you're 18, you can't wait till you're 21. Well, here we all are now. We can't wait for 57 days to go by.
It's true.
It's not that long, but think of the damage that can be done. I'm sure you must have seen this. There it was. I think it's on Axios that there's great concern that Trump will invade Iran right now. Israel is shitting in its pants that Trump wants to start a war here the last few weeks he's in office.
Right.
And if there was ever anything you would love to bestow upon your successor, it would be a Middle East war, an all-out shooting war between the strongest country in the entire region, Iran, militarily, at least the most number of people. I don't compare them. It's not an apples to apples thing with Israel. Israel's a better military, but they don't have as many people.
Right.
But the very idea that this is there, that it exists, that this guy is determined to bestow anxiety and nervousness on everyone to the very last day. Again, it would just be terrible. It would be terrible.
Wow. Yeah. Double down on that, Brad. That's good. Yeah. That's what needs to be done.
I'll
triple down on it. Yeah. That's great.
I'm just thinking about it. These are things I think about.
Fantastic.
They're good. They're good.
Oh yeah.
Because he does have a Harry Truman right behind him to step in there and do the right thing. So
sure. He absolutely does.
That's what I meant by that.
Harry Truman. Yeah. Harry Truman is now doing the fucking hustle in his grave right now, thinking about your comparison with Mike Pence. That's nice. Yeah. That's real good.
Well, they're both from the Midwest. You see, they both have that Midwestern sensibility, and both were haberdashers.
That's exactly right. I want to go back to the Jared and Ivanka article because I loved so much about that school that they're sending the kids to, who were like, we don't really like the fact that you're like going around to super spreader events and why are you doing that? And could you please get the fuck out of our school? I love
but there's even more to the story because they withdrew them. This is from some elitist school, and they were able to get them into another private school, some Jewish school.
Exactly.
Well, why the fuck did the other school take them? Is the other school not mindful of the fact that they take their kids to super spreader events at the White House?
Well, it's in Rockville. I mean, classic Rockville is it's a place that people. It's like sending your kids to school by the turnpike. That's what they've been reduced to in Washington D.C. by Jared and Ivanka. They can't wait to get out too, and they're going to go back to Jersey. And that was a dreadful article. This invasion of Iran, would it be allegedly at the behest of the Saudis? Because the Saudis, for a long time have been trying to egg him on doing something about the Iran problem because they don't want to do anything about it themselves. So this would be perhaps the final, the chef's kiss, if you will, to Saudi Arabia by Donald Trump as he gets out of town.
Now, you wouldn't allege that Donald Trump might actually be setting himself up financially post-presidency by, in the last few weeks of his presidency, doing something in the foreign policy area that would be so horrible, so bad for the world, so potentially devastating. By the way, you like those $2 gas prices? You're going to love them when they're $7.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
With an all-out war in the Middle East.
God.
Because anybody that thinks that we are just so energy independent that the oil that's pumped in the rest of the world means nothing, you'll find that it's not true in about 2 weeks.
That's exactly
2 weeks.
right.
No, 2 days. If there was military action over there in the Middle East.
This has been their dream, and this is why the Saudis in particular have been kissing Donald Trump's ass, because they think that he's going to, quote unquote, take care of the Iran problem.
I wish someone would take care of our problem
by having somebody choke on a roll at
ham sandwich. I would go for the famous ham sandwich,
which never happened. It's always been, a myth. That's never been exactly what happened at all. So that's the deal with that.
Right. Speaking of fake, did you see? I think this is at the top of the Mediaite page today. It's hard to believe that Trump could attract one bad lawyer who's worse than the previous one, but this Jenna Ellis person is the worst. She posted a fake Teddy Roosevelt meme, something that he never said,
right,
and got called on it, and then said, well, he might not have said it, but it seems true, it rings true. It's total Stephen Colbert truthiness taken to its ultimate.
He could have said it, and he would have said it.
Right, he should have said it. And it's just a picture of Teddy Roosevelt, and then supposedly having said, to anger a conservative, lie to him. To anger a liberal, tell him the truth. And of course, Teddy Roosevelt never said that. So she gets called on it, and then she goes back on Twitter and says the following. No, there isn't a specific record of him saying this in a speech, but I posted it because the idea itself is true. And she misspelled idea. She spelled idea.
I feel
whether he said it or not. And of course, here's that's not funny. Naturally, that statement, forget whoever said it. It doesn't matter that Teddy Roosevelt didn't say it. It is completely the opposite of what has happened in the world of Donald Trump, right? To anger Donald Trump, tell him the truth. To not anger Donald Trump, lie to him. Right? You want to move up in Trump world? Lie to him. Tell him what he wants to hear. Be a yes man. And so there's 12 things wrong with even the idea behind the fake quote that was never said by Teddy Roosevelt. Poor Teddy Roosevelt. He doesn't deserve this. He shouldn't be dragged into this. But did you know that Teddy Roosevelt once got shot while he was making a speech? That's terrible. That's terrible when a presidential candidate is shot while making a speech. But
it's a candidate. It's only a candidate, so it's fine.
Right. And Donald Trump's not a candidate anymore. So I'm just thinking about things like that.
Yeah. I don't think that would be helpful for the country. I got to tell you, I don't think that's going to be a good thing at all. And even though the Sidney Powell woman is not supposedly part of Team Trump, he continues to retweet her ideas and this releasing of the Kraken. Brad, do you know what the Kraken is? Apparently, this is going to be the kill shot to the people who are trying to take out Donald Trump from the presidency of the United States. And Sidney Powell has it.
Isn't the Kraken like the end of the world, the ultimate?
It's the ultimate weapon, sort of, I think.
Right.
Like a monster that's going to take out the forces of evil or something of that nature. And she is alleging, even though, again, we want to make very clear that there was a statement that was issued earlier this week that said, this woman, we don't know who she is. She's not part of our legal team. I don't know where she came from.
Right. This is taking the I never met her, I never heard of her, I don't know who she is thing to kind of a whole new level, because usually that's somebody who was in the administration or someone who he had appointed already. But this was a person who actually appeared just last week at that sweat-a-thon that Rudy Giuliani showed us what color his hair dye was running down his face there. So
and
that's a new way.
Sydney is filing some sort of suit in Georgia that's going to just fix everything and deliver the state of Georgia to Donald John Trump. So that sounds like it's pretty good. Brett, and speaking
but
of,
does this take the whole level of, you can't embarrass these people, you can't shame them?
no,
Like she's so crazy that she's still in her head working for Trump to try to overturn state election results in Georgia, right? He's already said, fuck you, you're crazier than even I want to accept speaking on my behalf. So what does she do? She keeps speaking on his behalf.
Well, and he keeps co-signing it too.
Right.
Let's not act like he's backing away from it. He continues to love it and welcome it, even though he's supposed to. I'm sure somebody, maybe Ivanka does come to the other. Remember, we don't like her anymore. She's not one of us. Oh shit, I forgot. I kept retweeting her stuff and supporting her. I'll undo it. No.
Okay, so let we are whatever 55, 56 days or whatever the number is, and our question is, what will happen after that? Will we keep talking about shit like this? And I say no, and I'll tell you why. Here's my latest version of that. Hunter Biden's laptop. Once it was decided that was a bullshit story, right?
Yeah.
We didn't talk about it because there were no details that were coming out beyond the crazy ass bubble. And we're not obligated, nor do we want to bother talking about everything circulating inside the crazy ass bubble. And that's why the Hunter Biden story went nowhere. And I think a lot of the Trump garbage, the attempt to resuscitate himself, everything, the critiques of everything that Joe Biden does. Joe Biden's probably going to wear a tan suit one day, right? There's something terrible like that. I think in a way you can confine it. Okay. It is not the Trumpona virus that's just going to be everywhere all the time that can't be contained. I think it can be contained.
Well, that was always the great irony, of course. He said that we would not be talking about coronavirus after November the 3rd, and what we're not talking about is Hunter Biden's laptop. And that is what disappeared after the election, not coronavirus. No, we were still talking about that because it rages on and on and on.
But the point is, we weren't even talking about it before.
No, it was never.
We weren't talking because it was instantly debunked. It had been debunked, and they thought they could ride this to victory. The quote that I threw up there, that Trump has spoken recently, I think this is in a Politico article, is Trump just is unable to understand how all these Republicans won. How did all these Republicans win around the country and I didn't? He's puzzled by that. It doesn't make any sense to him. And of course, that's because he's really not the smartest guy in the room. You don't even have to be you can be the 50th smartest guy in the room to realize that the reason that a lot of Republicans in the big Senate races, House races, flipped back because people made a conscious choice. They hate you. You have the never Trumpers, right? Who were never going to vote for Trump, but they never said they were never going to vote for any Republican again. They just hated you. Okay. Then you have the people who sat out the 2016 election. Remember, we had this high turnout this time on both sides. We had all we had the people who sat out. We had the people who voted for the first time, many of them. And I think just anecdotally, now that we think about it, there were a lot more people who were willing to express the fact that I've never voted in my life, but I really do think that my country is in danger and I'm going to get out and vote this time. And anytime they said that, that wasn't going to be a Trump vote. That was never going to be a Trump vote. Those were Biden voters. Mm-hmm. And then you have they're both the same, I'm going to vote third party. Oh, they're both the same, I'm going to write in Ronald Reagan.
Well, that was that was a big thing in 2016, not so much in 2020.
So I think there's your margin, and that, sir, is why you lost, and the Republican Party did fairly well. And this sets up a problem for Democrats and the Democratic Party because you can't 100% be sure that you're going to be able to turn people back if they've been predisposed to
Well, good news.
jump over the hoop of Trump.
Good news. He's
still
not
vote
going away,
Republican.
and they'll be talking about him running in 2024. So yes, he will be a part of the Republican Party for at least until he dies. And then, of course, it'll be Donald Trump Jr. and Eric and Ivanka, and then eventually Barron. So again, this is the disease and the herpes that it has invaded the Republican Party. So yeah, they'll always be able to rally people against Donald Trump because he's going nowhere. We're going to be hearing about election fraud on his Twitter account, which, as you point out, will be minimized over time, but it ain't going away.
But your premise is wrong. You can't.
No.
We didn't mobilize people against Donald Trump except for Donald Trump.
What's true?
Okay.
That I don't know, but no, people were mobilized against Donald Trump for sure.
But I'm saying they were mobilized against Donald Trump, but everyone else not so much.
Mm-hmm. Brad Raffensperger.
We couldn't fucking beat Tom Tillis, the biggest piece of shit.
It's true.
Even I don't care how many affairs Cal Cunningham had.
But
He should have been beaten in this state.
But that was the margin of victory. I think it was the affairs and all the people who lied and said they don't care about somebody's sex life. If Cal Cunningham for 5 seconds could have kept his fly zip, then I think he's going to Washington. I think that's what's going to happen because Roy Cooper was handily reelected in a statewide election in North Carolina. So yeah, those things happen, but Donald Trump is going to continue to be around and he's going to continue to mobilize people against him in the Democratic Party. Does that mean the Democrats don't have to do anything to shore up what they've got in their party? No, it means they've got a lot of work to do. There's a lot of things to bring together within the Democratic Party, but Donald Trump will always be there to help rally the troops because he's such an attention whore. He's a massive attention whore. And the rest of his family needs to suck off the giant teeth that is that guy so that they're going to have to continue the facade for a long, long time. Brad Raffensperger, the Secretary of State of Georgia, now saying that Donald Trump has thrown him under the bus, of course, with all the stuff that's going on in Georgia. Raffensperger points out that he and his family actually voted for Donald Trump, and now he takes great delight, Donald Trump does, in screwing Brad Raffensperger every single chance that he gets, Brad.
Well, first of all, that story in its own way is over. It's over. It's almost kind of late. The Secretary of State of Georgia is the Elliot Richardson of this era. Elliot Richardson, the Attorney General who, upon orders by Richard Nixon to start firing people in the Justice Department, said, "No, I'm not doing that. I resign. I will not be a corrupt Attorney General to try to save your bacon during Watergate." And Elliot Richardson was a true hero for standing up to Nixon. This guy, I believe, was under equal or more pressure and threats from Donald Trump and the Republican Party to somehow come up with and be that one guy. Because remember, we were talking for weeks and weeks. Trump's looking for one guy, one truly corrupt person, whether it's a judge, maybe it would have been a state Secretary of State, to cheat for him. And Raffensperger, is that his name?
Yeah, that's the guy, Brad Raffensperger.
Right. Is he related to the Steelers quarterback?
He's they're the same guy. It's his dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Said, no, I'm just going to do my job. And it's kind of absurd that you're a hero if you just do your job in opposition to the corruption and the threats and the mob boss mentality and the desperation of Donald Trump. But you are, because you have to compare this guy to every Republican senator, every one of them, all of them staying silent, all of them using weasel words, even the ones who, well, they finally started to talk against Donald Trump. No, they haven't. Not a one that I can tell. Not Mitt Romney. Okay, I'll give you Mitt Romney. But after that, no.
That's about it.
Ben Sass, fuck no. And by the way, it doesn't count if you just won your reelection. If you've got 6 years, okay,
yeah, right.
It doesn't count.
That's exactly
it does not count. Okay. So the pussies like the aforementioned Tom Cotton and Marco Rubio and Mike Pompeo
Ted
and
Cruz,
Nikki Haley,
Lindsey Graham. But the ones who have presidential aspirations, they're all laying down for Trump right now. And which is great because eventually they're going to turn into Lion Ted and Little Marco, and they're going to be slammed once again by this guy because he's going to try to run again in 2024 if cholesterol doesn't get him. He's going to try to run again in
Boy,
2024 because
now,
he has no
again,
other way to go.
I'm glad you brought that up because sometimes it's better to shoot a wounded animal and put them out of their misery than to have them
Let's
die.
do this 7 more times. That's fantastic. That's
high cholesterol. That would be just a
great.
horrible thing because it's a painful.
No, I just
nasty
think
way to go.
just go ahead and slip a statin to him. That'll be great. Go ahead and get that statin, sir. It'll be a good time for all for him to continue onward. So yes, this is where we are in America right now. That the pain and suffering continues, and this guy can't continue to shut up. I just saw a tweet. He's trying to hype the idea that Rudolph Giuliani is on the One America News Network right now.
Oh, good.
They are so transparent.
We'll stop right now so we can go watch it. Can I tell you something, Britt? I don't even know where to see that. Are they online all the time? Is that a website? I think
they are, but I was just trying to load up their website, and apparently it's been overwhelmed. Their servers have been overwhelmed. Yeah. I have no idea what's going on with that website.
Because it's not on Spectrum Cable.
God,
it does not exist. You can't even pay for it. It's not there.
No,
they don't carry it. So, by the way, kudos to Spectrum Cable and Charter Communications for saying we don't need this.
Speaking of which, I was trolling through Fox last night. They had a special edition of the Sean Hannity show, and it was that
guest hosting.
I think it was Jason Chaffetz this time.
Oh God, he's dreadful. Oh, he's the worst.
And so this is obviously something they've taped well in advance. They've recorded well in advance, and it was the left's COVID power grab. Brad, I believe, was the theme of the program last night on the Sean Hannity
it wasn't
program.
even live. They can't. Wow.
It is so.
It's almost like they're giving up.
It was a very special edition of Hannity.
Yeah,
a very special edition of
that horse
shit that we taped and put in the can because nobody wants to work on Thanksgiving week, and they don't pay Sean Hannity enough money to work on Thanksgiving week, and he doesn't care enough to save this presidency. He has it's the left's COVID power grab is our
Britt,
theme.
The other two are live. The other two stations are live. CNN, MSNBC.
Absolutely, they are. 100%.
They're not faking it.
I certainly hope Laura Ingraham and Tucker Carlson were live because we need them to continue to pump us up and tell us that this man is going to win this election and get another 4 years. That's what we need for them to do, and I hope those patriots are still alive. As we continue to talk about COVID and how it's just marching across America, there's no good news at all in terms of the coronavirus. The hot spots across America are basically America. Isn't that right? Right now, it was the Midwest and the Plain States, and now it's everywhere. Forget it. There's no second wave. The first wave is kicking ass and taking names right now as we have super spreader events that are hooked up across America, Brad.
Well, I don't know what to say. I mean, clearly 2 or 3 weeks from now, right before Christmas, you have the potential collapse of the American hospital system. There will be no more room. They will be turning people away. They'll be treating people in parking lots. They already are. Mm-hmm. We're going to run out of refrigerated trucks. There's going to have to be a decision. Do we use the cold storage refrigerated trucks for dead bodies or for the vaccine to cool it down? There'll be all these kind of horrible.
Do you remember
decisions.
the story? You remember the story of the ice trucks after Hurricane Katrina? The ice trucks that were sent across America never actually made it down to Louisiana? No. So there were ice trucks that were actually contracted by FEMA through third parties or whatever, and they were en route to Louisiana. And many of them it was so disjointed, they ended up going to the Midwest and the South, and they never made it to Louisiana. They get Mike Brown to testify in front of a House committee. That idiot Mike, heck of a job, Brownie, who pretty much seems like a competent guy right now by comparison, right? What we wouldn't give for a Mike Brown to be in this government. This guy would be like the superstar of the Trump administration, right? He would be like a guy that would get.
I'm not quite sure I'd go that far.
So they get to him and they go, "Sir, tell us about the ice trucks. Why didn't we have ice trucks going down to Louisiana?" He stammers for a moment. He goes, "But I just didn't feel it was the federal government's job to provide ice to people." That was his answer. Do you know what they use ice for a lot of times in a natural disaster?
To store the dead bodies?
To keep dead bodies cold, Brad. That's
Oh,
exactly
okay.
what they do, and what would have been helpful in Katrina, because they had a lot of dead bodies after Katrina. So yes, you're right. The dead bodies that need to be dead body storage right now, we probably need to go ahead and somebody in FEMA, somebody who has some competency, needs to get ice trucks started, maybe to every American city, because I don't know, you're going to need a bigger boat. You're going to need more ice at this point because people are dying at record rates. The numbers don't even have meaning anymore because you can't wrap your head around it. The New York Times says on November the 24th, 178,000 new cases. 178,000 new cases,
Well,
12 and a half plus million cases reported. You can't even fathom that.
Right. Well, you're going to be to 250,000 cases a day or 1 million every 4 days within a couple of weeks at the rate this is going, and with the juicing and the seeding that's going on, not just in airports all across the country, but in living rooms all across the country over the next few days. It's already started, obviously. Maybe we will get to herd immunity.
The herd immunity thing still drives me nuts because it's always, as you've seen all the articles, it's not what they think it is. It's not effective, and it's not anything.
No, if 70% of the people got it and 4 million people died, whatever the percentage would be, then there would be herd immunity. But I'm not sure that we want to get up to 4 million or 5 million dead to give it to everybody and get some form of immunity that way. That's why there's a vaccine coming. But
yes, but it doesn't matter.
We're incapable of restraining ourselves for a few months and waiting for the vaccine.
This hope that's being given to America about, there's a vaccine, maybe it's mid-December, maybe it's late December, maybe it's January. We don't have a way to distribute that thing. It's not happening.
There are going to be people, there's going to be several million people that start to get it apparently in December, but clearly it's going to take till May, June, July to get enough people so that you have some degree of being able to say, you know what? You can put a bunch of people in a baseball stadium again. It's not till the spring. And the fact that if we were having this discussion just a month ago,
mm-hmm.
and we saw these numbers going up the way they were, we'd go, this is terrible. We really need to keep, and you run through the same, you run through the same things, wear a mask, wash your hands. Socially, you say, but we were saying that a month ago. Now, in the last month, for 3 consecutive Mondays, we've had one drug company after another announce vaccines that are approximately 90% effective. So how has America responded to that? Well, by acting even worse and thinking errantly that because a drug company announces that they've got a preliminary result that's really fantastic, that's probably going to get approved by the FDA, and the pipeline will start to move sometime in December, that we now don't have to do the things that will save our lives in the short term. Because, in the short term, if you're dead, you won't be around to get the vaccine.
Yeah, if you're dead, you're dead.
Right, if you're dead. And I don't know how you reverse that.
I'm not sure.
Because remember, a month ago, there was no vaccine and we were acting like idiots. Now there is a vaccine and we're not only still acting like idiots, I'm saying this in total,
mm-hmm.
we're acting like bigger idiots, as if because there's a vaccine 5 months from now, maybe for me, I should get on an airplane now and fly cross country for Thanksgiving. I mean, there's absolutely no connection between those two events.
No,
there's none.
It's sad.
It's the old, pretend like you've been there before when you score a touchdown. Hey, here's an idea. Pretend there is no vaccine, and the only way you can get better and save your life and save your parents' life or your grandparents' life is to stay away from them at Thanksgiving. No, we can't do that. No, we cannot do that because, as you know, and I advise you to go back and read your Constitution, it talks about Thanksgiving in there and how you have the right to gather with your family on
the obligation,
no matter what.
You have the obligation as a patriot. I died doing what I loved, stuffing 5,000 calories into my face.
But I wish we had Sarah Palin around right now to say that's what the troops are fighting for. They're fighting for your right to have Thanksgiving,
so you can eat all of the carbs.
All right.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
We'll see you next week.
Monday.